and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the world of Craig. That's me. Ow, my wrist just clicked. So it's been a manic week. I'm back in the salon, which is great. It's so cool. A lockdown is beginning to ease here in the UK, but I have been back behind the chair. About 40 clients, I think I did last week, which is quite intense. But one of the things that I decided that was going to happen whilst I spent the 14 weeks here in my flat was that I was going to continue to regularly post on my YouTube. So here I am. My basin in the bathroom is just making a funny noise. That wasn't my stomach, although I have just stuffed my face. So here I am with a nighttime beauty favourites. Now, throughout lockdown, I probably treated myself perhaps a little bit too much, but to some new products. I tried some new products. It was my birthday, I'll use that as an excuse. So these are a couple of things that I tried whilst I was on lockdown that I'm getting really great results from. As always, here on the YouTube, if you enjoy this video, then please give it a like and also make sure that you're subscribed and that you hit the bell, because that means that you'll see everything here on my channel. Okay, without further ado, let's get into some new nighttime skincare favorites. Just briefly before we get into my new nighttime favorites, the first of which is on my knees, sitting on my knees here, just to let you guys know that I have an Instagram. Yes, I do. Some of you may know, but if you're new here to my channel or you've just come across me because of all the hair videos on here, I have an Instagram and it's popping up somewhere here right now. On my Instagram, there's lots of other beauty products featured in both stories and on a regular feature once a week on a Wednesday called What's New Wednesday. Go and check it out. So my first new beauty find is Ice Ceramide Moisturising Cream by Sunday Riley. Now, this is relatively new here to the UK. I purchased this from Cult Beauty. I'm a huge Cult Beauty fan, and their turnaround of their shipping is so fast here in the UK. And this, I think, is exclusive to them. It's £60. It retails for £60. I think it's about $65 in the US. And it's a moisturising cream. Now, first things first, I don't know if you can see in there the texture of this. It is really amazing. I'm not crazy into heavy moisturising creams, and I would say that this is, although it's a heavier texture, it's still very, very lightweight. You can see it's just sunken into my hand. Well, I hope you can see. Sunken into my hand really quickly. And so it's very moisturising and it's very thorough in what it does, but it has that really light texture. Now, I was doing some research. I was looking for a nighttime moisturiser, something I could put on sort of over the top of serums, because I've been using a Retinol, which I'm going to talk to you guys about in a second, that hasn't made my skin dry. It's an amazing product, but I just felt like my skin needed some moisture at nighttime when I go to sleep. I always do that when I say sleep. So I did some research, and the ingredients on the Sunday Riley Ice Ceramide Moisturising Cream, how many times am I going to say that, came out tops. Now, ceramides are the building blocks of your skin. And obviously the clue is in the name. This contains ceramides. It contains vitamin F, which are the lipids that basically are ceramides that do the moisturising. But this also has, as with the rest of the Sunday Riley range, I hadn't really used much from Sunday Riley before we went into lockdown, but I kept treating myself to bits and pieces. But this is the product that I've enjoyed the most. This also contains coconut, which is really moisturising. It has red algae in it, which is really high in antioxidants. If you think of seaweed and the colour red, things that are very rich in colour generally are very, very high in antioxidants. It also has pomegranate sterols. Yes, I'm a bit of a product nerd. I'm a bit of a formulation nerd. Pomegranate sterols. Now, they are, again, very high in antioxidants and help to get the nutrients into the skin. So, I mean, it has a really impressive ingredients list, and it doesn't contain, Sunday Riley's great because it doesn't contain, as well as being cruelty-free, it doesn't contain any of the kind of nasties, if you like. So I don't like to use the term clean beauty because that can mean so many different things, but it does have a really impressive ingredients list. I've been cleansing my skin, applying my serum, which I'm going to talk about in a second, letting that sink in, watching a bit of television, brushing my teeth, doing all the other stuff, checking the gram, doing all the other things I have to do, and then applying just a very, very thin layer of this. How much is this? 1.7 ounces in here, which is 50 grams. Now, I've had this now for about 3 weeks, and you can see how little I've used. At £60, yes, it's not a drugstore price, it is a premium price product, but the quality of the ingredients and the tiny little amount that you have to use to get a really good result, I think I'm looking quite dewy, it's definitely worth the money. And it smells also, that's the other thing, it smells divine. It's got like a kind of natural, fresh, but not like sweet, sickly fresh. Such a lovely smell. And it's funny, now I associate that with going to sleep. He does it again. Going to sleep, because that's what I'm used to smelling when I'm getting into bed. So that's Ice Ceramide Moisturising Cream from Sunday Riley. Oh, Kel Surprise, it's a candle. Not that there's a cupboard full of them just over there. So strictly speaking, obviously this is not skincare. They do have, by Redo, who make this candle, do have the saffron candle, do obviously do fragrances. They do a little bit of skincare, as in hand washes. I have one of those in the bathroom, and hand creams, and a few other bits and pieces, as well as leather goods and a few interiors goods as well. But I'm a huge fan of By Redo, and I hadn't bought one of their candles for a while, and on the way home from work, walking home on Saturday night, walking home, full of mime today, past Liberty, I popped in and treated myself to a candle with my tips from last week from being so incredibly busy. Now, I had forgotten, I had this one before, but I'd forgotten how amazing it really is. Obviously, it's got saffron in it, and that's why it's called saffron. It has leather accord, it has patchouli in it as well. There's a slightly woody, smoky smell to it. It is gorgeous. And the reason that I've kind of pulled it into this video is because I burn it at night time. This wouldn't be something I would burn during the daytime, but obviously you could. It has the iconic black wax of a By Redo candle. I think these burn for about 65 hours, and the price point for this was $59. So it's not a cheap, it's not a cheap purchase, but it's something that I would burn for 2-3 hours a night, and then extinguish it, because the fragrance throw is really, really amazing on these. I've been burning other candles, things that I hadn't had before. And it's interesting, going back to this, I realised that it is actually good value for money, because it does have a lot of fragrance throw. So it does emit a lot of smell, which is great. Now, By Redo, if you've never heard of them before, they were set up by Ben Gorham. I will link By Redo down, obviously, in the description box. Ben Gorham, who's an artist. I think he's Swedish originally, but then he grew up in Canada and lived in America. And he was an artist, but he got into perfumery, he met a perfumer and decided to set up a line of candles, and it's grown into fragrance and all those other products as well. So if you are a candle fan and you've never tried By Redo, I strongly, and if you like things that are kind of woody, kind of, I'm going to say the word seductive, but that's kind of cringe. But I'm sure that if you are a candle fan or a fragrance fan, you know, fan, you know what I mean. So that's Saffron by Redo. Now, I'm a huge retinol fan. I'm a real advocate for using retinol, and goodness knows, as I've got older, I've found that I've needed something that can give me that extra kind of resurfacing, if you like, and reveal fresh skin. So I've been super into something from Medicaid, and it is their Crystal Retinol. Now, this is nearly empty now. I've had this for about 6 weeks, and I'm going to repurchase it. Basically, I should do it after this. I should get online and reorder it. It's the most amazing retinol serum. It comes in a squeezy tube, which is an airless tube, which is good because it means it stays fresher for longer. You can see there. And I'm just there is still a little bit in here. If I just put a little bit on the back of my hand, I hope you guys can see that there. And just rub that in. Now, this is a nighttime retinol product. What does retinol do if you've never used it? I have talked about it here on my channel before, retinol, but Medicaid is a new brand to me. Before I tell you what retinol does, Medicaid was set up by somebody who studied pharmacology and physiology, a guy called Elliot Isaacs. And it's a British brand originally, I'm sure he is from the UK. I think he studied in university in Leicester. Don't we love the internet? Medicaid was set up by him, and I've seen a lot on social media, and I did a bit of research, and I was looking for a very effective retinol because the product that I was using wasn't really working, and I came across Medicaid. I'm also using their C Tetra, which is over on the table there, which I have on my skin now because it's the daytime. But before we get into this actual product, why retinol? Well, retinol is, like I mentioned before, it's a skin resurfacer. And also what it does is it promotes new cell renewal, which is good. That's what we want. Now, there are lots of different forms of retinol out there. And back in the day, there used to be something that you called tretinoin that you used to get from the doctor, from a prescription. I've only ever used that once, like ages ago. And it used to make your skin shed and it made your skin very sensitive. Whereas the new retinols, and specifically this, the product that the ingredient that's in here, which is called retinaldehyde. Now, Medicaid are like pioneers of formulation. Elliot is like super into formulation. And I also saw, I think his name is Dan, I think, if I can remember correctly, on the wonderful Trini Woodall's Instagram. Trini was talking to Dan, who's one of the chemists behind the line, and he was like a hive of knowledge. Retinaldehyde, which is the retinol that's in this, the ingredient that does all of that work for us, is 11 times more effective than other retinol derivatives. So the whole retinol kind of debate and, you know, what's good, what's not, what works, what doesn't, is a huge one and talked about an awful lot on the internet and between skincare nerds like myself. Geeks, nerds, I'm not sure which one of those I am. One of them I definitely am. But retinaldehyde has been very, very clinically proven to be super effective. Now I would use like 2 pumps of this. I would apply it all over my face and definitely my neck as well. Neck is something I focus on quite a bit. Not taking it around the eyes, they have other products for that, but up to kind of the eye area. As I was saying earlier on, I would leave that for sort of like half an hour and then I would apply the moisturizer that I showed you earlier on, the ceramide moisturizer, over the top of that. And that for me is enough moisturizing wise. But I've had the most amazing results from this. It's faded some sun damage that I had here. I'm sure that the vitamin C that I'm using helps as well. But this has also reduced my pore size. It's refined the texture of my skin around here. Such an amazing product. Now, the Crystal Retinol line, it's quite a new one, I think, in their line of products. It comes in 3-4 different strengths. I think there's like a base level. This is Crystal Retinol 3. Then there's a 6 and there's a 10. And every time you go up in kind of retinol strength, if you like, the price goes up slightly. This was just about £40, somewhere around the £40 price point. This is retinol 3, so it's like one up from the base level, but I will be buying number 6 next time. As with any retinol, if you're new to it, or you've kind of dabbled in it but you don't know much about it, when you're using something that's as effective and active as this, it's worth to kind of phase it in. So I used it twice a week for the first kind of couple of weeks, then every other night, and now I'm using it every night. And to be honest, I don't really want to go without using it because I've seen such great results. To the point that a couple of my clients actually this week said to me, "Your skin looks really good." Thanks. And you know, I have been in the sun when we've been off, but I have been wearing lots and lots of factor 50 plus. That's an interesting point actually that I bring up sunscreens, because Medicaid have a really great philosophy and it's called CSA. So it means vitamin C in the morning, then sunscreen over the top of that, and then vitamin A, which is retinol, at nighttime. So their whole philosophy is based around vitamin C, sunscreen to protect the vitamin C. Obviously we know is an antioxidant and it's really great for rejuvenating the skin, giving the skin a glow, and all of that stuff. And then sunscreen is brilliant, obviously, because I don't ever put my face in direct sun. I always wear a cap if I'm actually out in the sun or if I'm exercising outside. And day to day, I've always got factor 50 on my face as a moisturizer in the daytime. And then vitamin A, retinol, to renew. So not only to slough off and, you know, resurface the skin, but to stimulate new cell renewal. So that is Medicaid Crystal Retinol. And definitely, if you are a skincare fan or you want to get really serious about skincare, check out the link below. I'll link Medicaid below. Check them out and have a look, because they've got some really incredible products. I'm going to be also, when I reorder this, or number 6, Crystal Retinol 6, I will be trying out one of their eye serums as well, because one of my friends who's a skincare like fanatic and a really knowledgeable about skincare said that the eye serums are great. Crystal Retinol by Medicaid. So that's it, the roundup of what I'm loving at nighttime skincare wise at the moment. Thank you so much for joining me here on my channel again. It feels like the right thing to be doing, to be producing more content more regularly for my channel here on YouTube. There'll be lots more hair coming soon. I'm going to be producing videos on my models that I do in salon after all my clients have left the salon for the day, and I'm going to be posting those here on my YouTube. Lots more techniques, top tips. I've got a few things, a few ideas, maybe some kind of direct dye color placement, like I just flashed the beautiful Dee Dee at you guys, so that's her name. So maybe, they all have names, obviously, all my dolly heads. So maybe a little bit more of that as well. Thank you so much again for joining me here on my channel. I hope you guys are all really well. And like I said at the beginning, if you enjoy this video, please give it a like. Please give it a like and make sure that you're subscribed and hit that bell, because then you'll see everything here on my channel. But until the next one, you guys take care, and I'll see you all again soon.